Mirage is the second overall studio album by the progressive rock band Camel, as in the animal. Not the cigarettes or something like that. I fucking know. Yeah, this is a band that I've heard of before. I've heard some things here and there, but not a lot of mainstream, attention going on with the band. Yeah, I've listened to the record. It's really consistent. It's only 38 minutes long, so we don't have a lot to talk about here, and we only have 5 tracks, so there's that. I really love it about prog bands that they always have, not a lot of tracks, but the tracks that I do have are really long. And 2 tracks are, they have a quite of a decent length. One is a bit longer, and 2 are really long. This is requested by, I think, Robert I, but it was a long time ago, so I cannot remember exactly. So if it was not Robert I, if it was somebody else, then let me know in the comments, because it was a long while ago that this was requested. We started with Freefall, a really interesting and a really relaxing intro to the album. It is quite commercial sounding in the beginning, but goes in a more avant-garde, more progressive style later in the minute section, I would say. A minute 2 minute section. It picks up the pace a bit more. It becomes a bit faster as well. So this track, kind of is like a free fall. Free fall just kind of is first kind of soft and then kind of heavy and unexpected in a while. If that makes sense. Then we have Supertwister, and this is an original or an original. This is a instrumental song. Well, all of the songs are original, I guess so. But this track is quite, interesting. I would say it's not really too spectacular of a prog rock song. But it does what an instrumental needs to do. It shows off the instrumentations of the band. It's not too flashy, it's not too productive in a way. It is just there, it is solid. It was enjoyable, but I would say the weakest thing of the record, mainly why I think it's kind of weaker is the length. Because it's only 3 minutes long, so it's kind of buried. If you really compare to the long tracks. Then we have the White Rider, which has actually 3 transitions or 3 parts. We have part A, Nimrodel, part B, the Procession, and C, the White Rider. Nimrodel is, I believe, a bit acoustic, a bit more mellow in places. The Procession is where all the heavy stuff and all the more the more experimental things are going on. In the White Rider, closing it out and going back to the beginning a bit. We're still having a bit of that with that B section involved. Having the perfect blends of those things makes a great song. Which is the White Rider? Well, yeah, C is the title track, which I think is a bit confusing, but it is a great song overall, so I enjoyed it. Then we have Earthrise, and this is an instrumental as well. It's 6 minutes and 40 seconds. It's kind of Supertwister, but then with a, well, what would you say? What would you say? That was stupid as fuck, but this is more epic in places, I would say. And actually, Supertwister has a, for some reason, it has a mug filled up with, I believe, coffee or something like that, or a drink in general. And you can hear that on the ending of Supertwister for some reason. I don't know, why that is there, but there we go. But Earthrise is a pretty epic track. All of the songs were written by Peter Bardens and Andrew Latimer. Yeah, and this is just a really fantastic prog song. Really, just takes you there. Yeah, I don't have really anything bad to say about this track. Just fantastic overall, in my opinion. Enjoyable to listen to. It's 2 times better, I would say, than Super Twister. It's 2 times as long, so it makes kind of sense. And then we have the final song, which is Lady Fantasy. A really long, epic track to fill out the record. Yeah, and this song is 12 minutes and 45 seconds long. Really long, really epic. And we have A, Encounter, B, Smiles for You, and C, Lady Fantasy, the title track. Which they do again with the White Rider and stuff like that. Yeah, just this track just takes you to a lady fantasy in a way. Interpreted that however you want. I don't care. But this track just is epic. It's kind of the best song of the record. So Camel ends it ends it high with that track. I do really like that bands finish with their strongest material, which they perfectly did with this track. Really with this album, it's almost twice the record. Adds 7 more minutes, and you have half of the record to this track. And yeah, this track just breathes life. It breathes passion. It just takes you there. Encounter is just a really fantastic and really atmospheric feel to the beginning of the song. Smiles for You, just makes you happy, and just it doesn't primarily sound happy, but it just takes you to that fantasy world and just lets you explore with all the instruments coming to place on there. And Lady Fantasy, the real adventure just beginning for you there, and just taking you there, and just enjoying yourself really. Again, you can interpret that however you want, but I really don't care. That is that is so fun about your fantasy. You can it is your own, so it is your choice. But yeah, this song is just really epic. It's probably the greatest Camel song of their career. I'm not sure, but it probably is. And if I don't hear anything better than this, then I will not be surprised. Overall, this is a really great record. Really consistent. Only 5 songs, but all of them were really great. Still, yeah, and as well Supertwister, although a bit funnier, it was still pretty good. And all of the other songs were really great. So yeah, we have a near flawless record here, with only Supertwister being a bit more weaker, but still pretty great. So I would overall give this record a 9.3. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Mirage by Camel. I'll be Dominus. I hope you've enjoyed this album review. I believe it's requested by, or was it by Rockdo? Maybe it was by Rockdo. I could just fill in Rockdo. He requests most of the list. He's kind of my album review guy and music fan, being my Watch Mojo addict. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I think I'm gonna fill in Rockdo, but I'm gonna decide that someday, whatever. But I hope you've enjoyed it. The other things I just said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Let me know what you think about the list. Let me know what you want to see in a future and upcoming video. Let me know in the comments down below, and I would consider it. God bless, stay safe, take care, and peace.